We are in the historic little mill village of Ellicott City, formerly known as Ellicott's Mills, in Howard County, Maryland, about 10 miles southwest of Baltimore City. Howard County is separated from Baltimore County by the Patapsco River, which you may be able to see in the background, and the tracks here are the old main line of the B&O Railroad that initially ran from Baltimore to Wheeling, which was in Virginia back then. Here we have the B&O Railroad Ellicott City Station, Ellicott's Mills it was called then. This is the south end of the building, the car house. And here we have, let's see, up on the hill is Angelo's cottage, Angelo's castle, busily disappearing in the spring foliage. In another couple of weeks you won't even know it's there. There's Ellicott City's main street, a couple of nifty old houses up on the hill. We're going to go into the former freight house that now houses a 40-foot HO scale model of the first 13 miles of rail in the country. I'll let the camera adjust to the light. The current exhibit at the museum is called "The War Came by Train," and it commemorates the 150th anniversary of the beginning of the Civil War. As you can see, perched above the village, we have a contingent of Union soldiers guarding the village. And let's see, here is the station, and up on the hill is St. Paul's Church, where Babe Ruth was married for the first time. This is Ellicott City's main street. And let's take a little 13-mile walk down to Baltimore. That's about as far as I've walked in a long time. Fortunately, we're doing it in HO scale. Now we're walking along the Patapsco River. The train is headed our way, about to cross the Thomas Viaduct, which was wiped out in a flood in 1868 and has since been replaced by a tunnel and an iron bridge a little bit upstream. Going along the river, there's the old swinging bridge, which is still there in a somewhat more modern form. These buildings represent mills and ironworks and so forth that were all wiped out in floods in the 1860s, and now it's all just part of the Patapsco State Park. This bridge is the Thomas Viaduct, which was completed in 1835 and is still in use by the railroad. The MARC line to DC, as well as CSX freight trains, still use it. It's held up rather well for a bridge that age. Guarding the bridge is another contingent of Union soldiers. The bridge was crucial to the Union. Had the Confederacy captured it, it would have isolated Washington, D.C., which would not have been a good thing at all for the Union. Fortunately, the Union was successful in guarding the bridge. It was never really in any danger. Here we have Camp Relay, which is another Union encampment. You can see the artillery piece and tents and so forth. This area was called Relay because that's where the horses were changed in the early days of the railroad before steam. This little building here was Relay House, which is where that operation was conducted. Some of you older folks might remember mail pouch chewing tobacco signs that used to be all over the place in barns, on the side of barns and so forth. Here is another. This is Camp Carroll, a Union encampment named really for the Carroll family or for the Carroll Mansion, which is right here. This was built by Charles Carroll, the barrister, who was a cousin, probably a second cousin of Charles Carroll of Carrollton, who was the last signer of the Declaration of Independence to die and the only signer to have ever ridden on a train. We're coming into Baltimore now. This is West Baltimore, Pigtown, the locals used to call it. That's H.L. Mencken country. That's where he lived. Union Square, a lot of folks call it these days. And then we get to the main B&O Museum in Baltimore City. That roundhouse is no longer there and has been replaced with a newer version that nestles right in the crook of the Mount Clair station. The one that's there now is the one that had the roof collapse a few years back under a couple of feet of heavy snow. It's since been replaced better than ever, and almost all the machinery that was damaged has been repaired. This is a terrific little museum. We'll walk back up to the Ellicott City end, and that'll be as close as I come to doing a marathon, I can guarantee you. 26 HO scale miles. Do visit both the downtown, the main museum, and the Ellicott City Museum. They both have wonderful exhibits. Well worth a visit. Here we are all the way back to Ellicott City. And that should do it for now. Thanks for watching.